Welcome back to Sister Scoop. We are here giving you the big Marvel news of the week. And we're going to start with a continuation from one from last week. And honestly, this kind just feels like we're out here like, it could be them, it could be them, it could be them. But this week, the possible argument on set is actually supposedly, allegedly, maybe between David Harbour, and Wyatt Russell. Now, this has been an update, like we said, from last week when supposedly it was Ryan Reynolds and RDJ. This time, the rumor between the two of them is that something happened with one of Wyatt. I don't know if it was one of Wyatt's scenes were cut or something of that nature. And David apparently made a comment, which Wyatt didn't appreciate. Kind of got into a little bit of a yelling match. There was a shove. That was all it seemed to escalate to. This is the most details we've gotten. So I don't know. It feels like it could be right. But again, allegedly, supposedly, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. This one feels less plausible to me than the RDJ Ryan Reynolds one, simply because they did an entire movie together, they did an entire press tour together. And look, I know they're actors, they get paid to literally act, but
And hang out.
yeah, but truly, if you look at their interviews, they did seem to get along really well. So it seems kind of harder for me to say oh yeah, it makes sense for him to kind of have this fuse moment where he was annoyed about a scene, and now David makes a comment and now he's shoving him. I don't know, that seems harder for me to believe than Ryan Reynolds being a jerk. And I'm not saying that Ryan Reynolds, that whole thing, I think it was debunked and has been said that that's not true. So I don't want to say that we're putting one theory, or not even theory, one rumor against the other. It's just if I'm looking at them from a believability standpoint, I'm struggling more with this one than I am with the last week's version of the rumor. I also don't know Wyatt Russell. So I don't know what kind of ego we're playing with there, because I don't know the man personally, so can't really say.
I mean, here's the only thing I will say, if I'm going to play devil's advocate, which I know is not usually my role here, but I will say we like each other. And there have been times I have threatened, actually not even threatened, I've pushed you in a bathtub. Whether or not you get along and you like each other, I think there's always that line that can be crossed. So I think if you kind of play devil's advocate from that angle, I do see how maybe it was just tempers were already hot, or just in general, you're stressed, there's something going on. Maybe for all we know, Wyatt was trying to do a scene that he just wasn't hitting. And so they were like, you know what? We don't need it. Let's just cut, there's a lot that goes into this. And there are a lot of people on set. There's a lot of stories to tell. So no offense, but I don't know if his story is as important as some of the other people who are going to be there. So it's very possible it was just a frustration. And, it does take, whether it's a friend or not, somebody making the wrong comment that just really sets you over the edge. So it's not to say that it couldn't happen. They did do all the press tours together and all that. I get it. But, again, this version of the rumor, there's a lot more to it. But I guess it's not plausible. I do think there's a possibility. And it could have just been that moment on set and it moved on. They all moved on and we're good.
Yeah, I mean, the back half of this kind of rumor is that supposedly everything's kind of all good. That was kind of the end of it. So to your point, it does kind of seem hi Gam, it does kind of seem like we do have a little bit more detail about this one. And I'm not saying it's not plausible. I just felt like last week's in my soul, I was like, yep, I could see that. Whereas this one, we don't, to your point, we get mad at each other all the time. You have a bad day and somebody just, pushes the right button and it happens. But, because we've never seen them kind of in that way, and neither one of them has really kind of shown that tendency, it's not, it just doesn't come as naturally. That's all.
I mean, that's fair, but I mean, we've honestly fought so many times before we've done this podcast that
I had our best episodes ever.
Exactly.
Right after
you wouldn't
match.
know. You wouldn't know. So I do have to say, that being said, I do think there's a strong possibility that if this is the correct part of this story now, it's completely all right, it happens. Yeah. We move on, and how we move on is what matters. So hopefully if this is true, this is the last we hear of this, and we could just all move on in general.
Yeah, let's be done.
Cool.
All good things, all good vibes.
Yeah. That's how I feel. Moving on, still Doomsday related. We did have D23, and I would say in general it's not as robust on the Marvel side as it usually is, but Marvel's been kind of pulling back. We've had discussions about this before. We did get a little bit of some teasing of Doomsday from D23, so let's just get into it.
Yeah, so it sounds like there was kind of like a teaser, to your point, but not a teaser with like official footage. Not the teaser that we're used to. Like a teaser trailer was not that polished. So
Yeah.
if you weren't there like us, though I wish we could have been, it's not like we missed like the first official footage of Doomsday.
Correct.
But from the descriptions that I've heard, it was more of like I'm going to pull lines from characters who are in Doomsday from past appearances to kind of tell a story and give a vibe of like what Doomsday is about. Cool. Love it. Part 2 then was a little bit of a behind the scenes chat with the Russo brothers and our good friend Paul Rudd, Ant-Man, kind of hyping up the film itself. So not a ton of like extra detail, but enough to be like, okay, like we're starting to get some vibes. I still would like an official summary. I don't even care if it's not a teaser. I just want an official summary. But this feels like a first step to me into getting some of those like foundational details that will help us as we think about the next, 15 months, 16 months heading into Doomsday.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, any first anything is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we've known they started filming. We knew the Thunderbolts end credit was filmed on set of Doomsday. We know that Fantastic Four end credit scene was on the set of Doomsday. So I think being able to like know that and know that they've been filming for quite a bit of time now, it's nice to get a little bit of a breadcrumb. So I'll take whatever we can get, but we'll see. Hopefully soon that means we'll get maybe even just a small 10-second something. I would love to see it, but I'll take the breadcrumbs.
Yeah. Just to give me a written summary, man. That's all I want.
Or a written summary.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on to my favorite probably news in a long time. Not really. We all knew it was coming, but the Marvel Zombies trailer has officially dropped. Obviously, we're getting that at the end of this month, which is very exciting. And it looks awesome. I'm so excited to watch the show. It is not even funny.
I know. What a fun spin-off of What If. Like that is, what was that? That was the first season we had that What If Zombies episode. Yeah. I mean, the fact that was 2021. 4 years later now we're getting the spin-off. 1, I can't believe it took them 4 years to greenlight it and get it going. But 2, it's going to be so fun. I mean, the scene with Spider-Man beheading the zombies.
Crazy.
Wild.
Oh my gosh.
Moon Knight Blade is going to be insane. Also, the first time we're seeing Blade in the MCU. Well, that's not Wesley Snipes. Like, not a reiteration of a character that had previously existed. He's
difficult. Modeled after Mahershala Ali's future Blade.
Yeah.
Let's say that. So,
like, it's like a potential peek into how that character might be written. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Loosely. I don't want to put any, like, stakes in the ground there because we know from property to property, characters are written differently. But I'm excited about that. I think that's the thing that I am most excited about. It especially makes me more confident because if you think about, like, we saw Riri Williams in animation before we got her show. And, like, obviously we knew they were never going to cancel that because they'd already, filmed it. It was just, like, sitting on a shelf for a really long time, inexplicably. But that word was hard for me. But
okay.
The fact that they are choosing to have Blade to me gives a lot of confidence to the fact that, like, that is it's gonna happen at some point. It has been gestating for, like, the longest time, but, like, eventually it's gonna move forward. And this feels like a little bit of a, hey guys, I know you've been struggling, but it's gonna come. Just stay the course.
See, personally, it's funny that you were noticing that, but as somebody who really liked that What If episode, I mean, it's not that I didn't notice him. Maybe I should say that first. But what I was really noticing was how they worked it, because when What If was first coming out, and I actually think it was 2022 when the first season came out. I think 2021 was, Because that was Loki, WandaVision, Falcon
No,
and
it
Winter
was
Soldier.
2021. I'm like fairly
Did it
sure.
come out still that year?
Yeah, it was right in between.
You're right, because I remember watching it with my roommates. You're right.
Yeah.
Anyway, either way, that wasn't important. But back at the time when that came out, we didn't have pretty much any of the characters we have now, because those first few shows that came out, as I just listed, were all primarily of characters that we'd known about in phases 1 through 3. So that being said, what I really like is they've worked in a lot of the phase 4 and 5 characters, on top of the fact that low key, it's like a lot of your OG Avengers are the bad guys. They're the zombies at this point. They're the first ones to have turned. And so you do have some of these later characters, and not all of them. Obviously, Spider-Man came in those phases. I know. Oh, who else? Ant-Man is ahead. That's still not really fully explained to me, but regardless, like, so there are still characters who obviously have come over. I know Bucky was one from that original. I still am thinking about that shower scene quite often. I enjoyed that. Thank you, Marvel Animation. But regardless, I think you do have some. But now we have Yelena. You mentioned Blade. Like, there are other ones that we've seen that are characters we either haven't seen yet or are coming or already here. Like, regardless, so I think it's gonna be really interesting for that way to kind of see the old guard get fought by the new guard in a very different way, like a way you wouldn't have expected. So I'm so excited for this. I'm excited because it's animation's version of gory, which works for me. I can't do normal gory, but I can do this type of gory. Yeah, this tickles my fancy. But I'm very excited for this. I think it's going to be so cool. And like I said, we get it at the end of this month, so that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it a lot. I think the trailer really brought out the hype. I was kind of like, when is this coming out? End of the month? I'm confused. And then the trailer came out and I was like, oh, okay. And they had the metal, and I was like, all right, I see the vibes, and I am good with this. This feels good.
Yeah, I agree. But that has been this week's Sister Scoop. Make sure you guys are joining us next week as we take on 3 more Marvel news topics. And of course, make sure you guys are listening to the podcast, as we're still coming out every week right now. Right now, I think we're doing the replay. So make sure you guys are keeping up with that on the Infinity War replay. And we will see you guys next week. Bye.